Hello and welcome to Game 1 of Reason vs. Willowkeeper Diamond Cycle 9, round of 16. This is obviously a very old match, but this is what I can cast, so this is what you're getting. Both of these teams here, obviously this is round of 16, so nobody's been knocked down, nobody's won anything yet. This is the initial match. Reason, of course, pretty well known, as they've been around for a long time, originally as there's the second Q Squad team, I think. Been through some roster changes since then, but still a pretty solid team. Consistently quite strong performance. I think they finished HoN Tour with the number 3 overall seed, and therefore went into the group stages, in the second stage, in fact, instead of having to go through the initial group stages. And Willowkeeper did also go through the playoffs. I don't remember if they made it through or not, but it doesn't really matter. Also, actually, a pretty strong team. They've been putting up some quite solid. They put up some pretty solid results in the playoffs. They've put up some pretty solid results in Diamond Cycle 10. And they've generally played very well. They've not embarrassed themselves too much at any point, I don't think. I think the guy that stands out for me most is probably Boxel on that Suicide, as he plays a very mean Kronos in that Suicide role. Does pretty well in Greenix as well. But one of the better Suicide Kronos players, I think, out there. So, should be a good matchup here, as these teams should be relatively evenly matched. Perhaps a little bit in favor of Reason, just because we know them a little better. They've had a little more success tilting stuff in their direction, but we'll see. Of course, upsets are always possible, except for this, because this was already played, so upsets aren't possible. We just don't know. Well, I don't know, at least, whether the upset will come. Initial bans are Ophelia, Warbeast, Ravener, and Kraken, so nothing too crazy there. Ophelia, Warbeast, pretty common bans. Kraken, we see every so often in the first stage of bans. Ravener, rarely seen at this stage of bans, but certainly nothing that I would be shocked to see. He's certainly a very strong hero, extremely strong mid-initiator player. Can even do that semi-carry a little bit if he gets enough farm. And I really wouldn't rely on him as my primary carry, but as his number 2, number 3 hero, that's certainly a hero that you can go to and say, look, you're going to do a lot of damage in these team fights, you're going to soak up a lot of damage being pretty tanky, you're going to do some stuns, you're going to disrupt things to the other team, and you will certainly perform well in that role. So banning out the Rav, not a huge surprise. And so far the picks are only 2 underway, as we're waiting on Imbaboy's 3rd selection. He only has about 45 seconds left of time, so he's should make this pick quick, as he doesn't want to use all his time, I assume, at this point. So far, Engineer and Wretched Hag. So 2 heroes that probably won't lane together, but a pretty solid combo. Engineer locking everybody down inside that NG field, and putting the Bat Blast in much easier position to be destroying the other team, as both of those ults are obviously very strong in team fights, and strong for some pretty solid annoyance, as the getting trapped in NG field, the silence, the slow, the damage per second you take is a big issue. And then, of course, the burst damage from Hag makes it a bit even more serious problem. Drunken Master will be their last pick. I assume that's going to go to Imbaboy. And while I think that's a hero that can definitely be dual laned, Reason doesn't tend to do that so much. They do tend to avoid the DM dual lanes. We'll see if that gets eschewed here, but it's possible. Don't know. They also don't like to run junglers all that much, so I do fully expect to see a second support here, despite the fact that both Tempest and Parasite were available. Neither of them were selected, so Tree, I would think, will run a jungler, but Reason, for whatever reason, Imbaboy over there, as the drafter, does not like to run their junglers too much, and Tree's not going to go for one either, picking up the bubbles at the last pick. So far, DM, of course, rounding out that lineup of the first 3 picks and providing a lot of single target damage, not too much in team fights, but he can get extremely problematic for opposing supports and squishies if he gets a pretty good start. Just the amount of physical damage he puts out, especially with the Soul's Bulwark, the Ghost Marchers, and eventually the Shield Breaker, gets pretty ridiculous. So plenty of damage coming out here from Legion's side, and not too much push, some pretty solid team fight, and decent carry, especially if Hag is running that short lane, although I suspect she won't be. Meanwhile, over here on the Hellborn side, Pestilence, Luna, and Bubbles, so better gank, I think, really, than anything. Some semi-carry potential with Pestilence, but again, not a hero that you want to be your number 1. He's much like Rav in that he's good as your number 2, maybe your number 3, probably your number 2, but you don't really want to make him your number 1 farmer and rely on him, for all your right-click damage. Bubbles and Illuna, meanwhile, providing some solid bursts, so there's some gank there. Not too much push on the side of Hellborn. Power Throw and Shell Surplus Song of the Sea will help clean up creep waves relatively quickly, but not too much building damage. So neither side looking too strong in the push right here. Team fight is going to go to Legion a little bit just because Pesty and DM are both single target. Bubbles is a team fight hero, but both NG and Wretched Hag have team fight ability. Carry is also favoring the Legion side a little bit, as Hag has more carry potential than pretty much anybody on the Hellborn side, except for a massively overfarmed Pestilence. Plus the DM will definitely be right on par, perhaps even above the Pesty for that matter, so certainly no question that the late game goes to Legion here, at least so far. So both sides looking for a support here. They've got Hag can run an A lane, DM can really run an A lane as well. Bubbles has the Suicide or mid potential. Pesty is probably going to be mid. So I suspect we'll see a Suicide Bubbles, mid Pesty with Illuna, and we're looking for a short laner, possibly a second support. Probably a second support now that all the junglers are banned out. Speaking of those bans, Tempest, Parasite, Torturer, Keep of the Forest, Grinix, and Flux. So junglers eliminated relatively easily and quickly. Torture is a support obviously getting taken care of by Imbaboy. Keeper of the Forest, Grinix, also on the list, as both of those have suicide potential, which is interesting because it's very possible that we already have the suicides for both sides with Hag and Bubbles. In fact, I would bet that Bubbles will be the suicide for the Hellborn team, assuming of course they don't run an aggressive tri-lane, which is very possible for them. And depending on the Legion's last pick, it is also very possible for the Legion side. So some sensible bans coming out there. Flux, of course, a targeted ban because the Reason already has the Engineer, and they could very easily put that Flux in mid with Engie, have Hag Suicide or DM Suicide, and put the Blitz in the short lane with probably the DM. Although you could run the aggressive dual lane with DM as well. Pyromancer going to be the fourth pick over here for the Hellborn, so that's going to be their second support. And lots of stuns is the other thing I'm noticing. We've got 3 solid stuns over here, Pesty, Illuna, Pyromancer, plus the Kelp Field from Bubbles. More of an interrupt than a true stun, but if people take that Kelp Field stun, they walk out of it, and that's actually a pretty solid stun. So lots of lockdown over here in the Hellborn side. Of course, Legion has their fair share as well. 2 stuns, 3 stuns really. Keg's a little harder to land, but 2 of them are targeted, Blitz and DM. And of course, the pilfering from Blitz is a big problem, especially in the early on. And it will be Pebbles as the last pick, so I suspect he's going to be 1-2-2 strat here with Imbaboy on the DM in middle with Blitz and Pebbles, sorry, DM and Blitz on bot lane, so Imbaboy will probably be getting that Drunken with, okay, we'll see. So if this stays the way it is, it's going to be a DM Suicide, Imbaboy solo short, and then I'd suspect the DM middle, and then Imbaboy solo short with the tri-lane aggressive coming out here, and that's a pretty solid tri-lane in fact, with 3 stuns. So I would like to see the tri-lane here with Pebbles, Blitz, and Engineer. That's very, very aggressive, lots of stun potential, and both Hag and Drunken Master can more than hold their own in even a 2-on-1 situation. If they get tri-laned against, they might have to rotate, but certainly in a 2v1, both Hag and DM can be just fine. Waiting on the last pick here from Legion. I'm suspecting it's going to be a right-click carry. Yep, it is going to be Silhouette, so interesting there. We don't see Silhouette too often, and for a good reason, I think. She is a fine hero, but she is almost entirely single target, so she needs a lot of farm and a lot of items in order to get to the point where she can reliably team fight. Otherwise, she's too scared of being picked off to stay in team fights for very long, and she will output a massive amount of damage onto a single hero, but it's not really enough in the common metagame where you have 5-on-5 team fights and you're like, oh well, Pebbles gonna pick somebody off super fast. The Hag Bat Blast and the Sonar Scream providing lots of AoE damage. The Energy Field's gonna disrupt everything, and this Hellborn side is awfully single target. When we look at it, Pyromancer has a couple of AoE spells, but of course his ult is only 1. And now they have switched this, so this is going to be Zane on the Suicide Hag and dual lanes here, I suspect, with Bevels and NG mid, Blitz and DM on bot. So we'll see if that's actually what happens, but it is what I suspect. Alright, Hellborn, we have Silhouette going top with Luna, that's not surprising. Bubbles, actually Boxel's playing that Pesty, so interesting. He's usually their Suicide player, I believe, but perhaps something different here. And his Krake is going to be Suicide, yeah. He's got a ward, he has 6 tangos there on top of the health pot, so he should be alright in terms of regen. And we're probably going to see a pesty Pyromancer blip middle lane then. 2 AoE stuns there and some extra damage from Pyromancer's nuke. It's a pretty solid kill lane. No, this is going to be the aggressive tri lane. Yes, I like that. So there's going to be DM solo mid and Zane solo bot on the Hag. Hag versus Bubbles. That goes in favor of Bubbles a lot more than you'd think. But in this situation with Hag being short laned, I suspect she'll win that matchup. If you have a Suicide Hag up, it's against short lane Bubbles, or if they're mid, I usually give that matchup to Bubbles. But in the short lane, Hag has just a little too much safety there. And she's got quite a bit of regen herself, pooled a health pot, and has 6 tangos, so she should be alright. This aggressive tri-lane against the defensive dual lane over here is going to be the story, though. You know, both ranged heroes, so it's going to be a little bit of an issue trying to get kills, especially because the tree grapple and silhouette makes her a little harder to kill. But the big deal is, you know, they have 3 stuns, so really they should be able to burst her down before she even gets the tree grapple off. A Luna stun in the middle of that could prove a bit of an issue, but for the most part I suspect this will be more or less free farm for Pebbles. Hag will get her fair share on bot. We'll probably win this lane. And in mid, we're going to see DM as actually Legion are breaking up the tri-lane here. They are going to send... No, Blitz is now heading back top. They're not really sure what they want to do. Because actually it looks like Hellborn's reacting this and sending power top. And in fact, they're going to counter ward up here. So well done for Blitz there. Easily taking out a ward very early on. And now... Legion have to be a little concerned because they've got 3 ranged heroes over here on the Hellborn side, and technically 3 stuns. Tree grapple is a little less reliable, but when you have something to set it up, it's a little easier. And the other thing you have to notice is everybody over here has 600 range, and Engineer's at 500, and Blitz is at 500, 450. So Pebbles is going to have a hell of a time up here getting CS, because every time he steps up as the creep wave, he should eat a few harasses, and he is. So he's going to run a regen real fast. Has only 2 tree eaters left. Blitz has a pot and some trees. Engineer has nothing. So they are going to lose lane control on Hellborn real fast, but Silhouette here should have a really good time as Marcus Moy on that carry. Really, in all honesty, should be able to win this lane over the Hellborn side, as the stuns on both sides are quite powerful, but with the range advantage that Hellborn have, like, Legion is going to have to jump in their face in order to get anything off. And with the short range on everything on all their heroes and the, you know, the extreme amount of stuns on the Hellborn side as well, I think it's going to be a bit of an issue trying to get kills here. Lane will push into the tower, so Pebble is going to be able to pick up some CS here. Bot, Hag, and Bubbles going at it still. Hag will take a tree, has 2 tree eaters left, that's it. Bubbles still has 5. So Bubbles doing a little more with the harass here, as you can see, he's missing some mana. And middle, DM and Pesty both doing pretty well. We've got 300 now on Imboboy, as he's going to put the stagger onto Pestilence, takes the bottle off of the courier. And both here, actually, Pesty got his too, so both heroes now having their bottle. Nice impel stun, you're going to get some tree, or tower auto attacks there. And trading some CS up there, it's a fake. So, right now in this lane, 16-2 Drunken Master compared to a 15-0 Pestilence. So DM slightly ahead here, not by too much. There's a nice impel stun and a gore on top of it. DM jumping in, and Flight is actually active, but will not be enough to get the kill. So now that DM has had to back off a little bit, Pesty will take the advantage. He's looking for the impale stun. There's a gore. And a little more, and they could actually pick up a kill here. Up top, meanwhile, MG and Blitz hanging around in the woods will get spotted out by Luna and Silhouette. As Death Growl is actually doing pretty solid on this lane. For some reason, Marcus Moy is not getting the CS he needs. They're not harassing him the way that they should. I mean, there's a lot of regen in this lane between... there we go. Jump onto Pyro. There goes the Stalagmites, but the nice stun on 2. Now Pyro's going to fall here, but they're going to get a counter kill onto Death Growl. So that's actually partially in favor of the Hellborn side. Now Blitz is in some trouble as well. Not enough mana to do too much, and uh-oh. Okay, on top of the Blitz stun, and this is going to be a death on Silhouette as well. No! Nice health bot to save her. Are they going to be able to get the kill on the Blitz? No, he will take a health bot himself and a mana potion. Silhouette gets spotted up by his buddy. So Bloodlust goes in favor, sorry, and Nice, there we go. Voxel will fall in middle, and so now Legion enjoying a pretty solid lead here, as Deathgrowl did fall on top, but he's still out GPMing the Silhouette. For some reason, they're just not backing him off the lane enough. You think with 3 heroes up here, Silhouette should get pretty much all the CS, and Deathgrowl should not be able to get nearly as much as he has, which is 15 and 3 compared to the 8 and 4 Sil. So not feeling it here from Marcus Moy in the Silhouette. And this is really where Silhouette's one of the strongest heroes, is during the laning phase, with the Relentless Salvo being able to put harassment on people, but Deathgrowl is just sitting in the back, and for some reason, they're just not forcing him out of lane here. Like, I don't know why Pyro is where he is. I mean, I sort of do. Like, he doesn't want to eat the stalagmites here, especially now that Aluna is roaming through the jungle for 0 reasons. And middle impulse stun plus the bugs on Imberboy, so he's going to take some damage, but not a lot. And it feels a little bit like Hellborn's misplaying this. Like, I don't know what Aluna's doing over here. Taking some time out to be herself. But because she's spending so much time off this lane, that this ends up being a 3v2, and Deathgrowl is getting farm that he shouldn't be. And they're also going to lose lane control here over here. Pestilence once again jumping on Imberboy. And this lane is now 27 and 1 and on Pesty versus third 29 and 3, as actually DM going to take some damage? Not enough. But DM going to head top, grab the Illusion Rune. So Pesty will take over the CS, but he's not going to have a full bottle anymore. And Drunken will. On bot, Zane's sitting at 33 and 6 compared to 27 and 5 on Bubbles, who actually has been forced back. So Zane doing quite well down here. And now it sort of feels like Legion's winning all 3 lanes. And this tri lane isn't one that they should win. So 245 GPM here on Deathgrowl. It's not going to be too much too fast. He's just sitting on boots and a mana battery right now, so no bottle, no power supply. Not even close to a portal key, obviously, but he should have his... I mean, he has enough gold for his steam boots, so as soon as they pass the shop again, I suspect he'll pick those up. And Marcus Moyen is still just sitting on Ring of the Teacher and boots, so once again having a bit of suffer time. Bubbles is here in the middle, perhaps looking for a jump onto Imberboy on this Drunken Master. Will they dive, is the question. No, Bubbles is actually going to leave, go back bot. And she feels like Wretched Hag has had free farm down here for too long. You look at the GVM charts. She kind of has 320 gold per minute. And Imberboy on the Drunken just behind her at 327, not just ahead. Pestilence going for bot rune, it will be top, so good luck there for Legion side as a regen. And Blitz hanging out here a little bit, perhaps looking for a kill, but of course will be spotted out by those bugs. Blitz coming in here with the Quicken, try and get past the wave before it gets stunned. That's certainly a good idea. So a pretty extreme lack of aggression. Zane, meanwhile, on the bottom does get spotted out. Has the bugs on her, so there's nothing much she can do about that. And Kraken picks up the kill. Meanwhile, up on top, Marcus Moy falls for some reason. There's the Stalagmites, will catch him, and there's the Keg. There's the Chuck as well, and nice stun there. So St. Rocks picks up the kill. Now the Pilfering onto Aluna, nicely done with the stun, but that's not going to stop Deathgrowl for too long. Has the Chuck up in a second. There it is, and this is going to be a dead Aluna, no question. St. Rocks getting a double tap. And Power Manager's just forced to run away. So Pebs here has his Steam Boots and 700 gold. Probably not going to go bottle in this game, as they've already got 2 on the leading side, and 3 bottles is really a bit excessive. Pesty over here, perhaps looking for a gank onto somebody. Red ward goes down, make sure that they don't have any vision. But Legion's feeling a little scared about this, and they'll leave. Silhouette has headed middle now, as she's feeling like she's not getting enough on top, and certainly she isn't at 188 gold per minute. That's pretty suffer lane up there, and Silhouette's not a hero that's going to recover super well. I think what she needs to do at this point is get a Searing Light, just because she needs a farming mechanism. But this is not a hero that clears creep camps. You know, she doesn't go like into a wave and say, okay, all the creeps here are dead. She has single target damage. She farms heroes more than creeps. And Hellborn have a pretty damn active team, especially with Pesty and Bubble, so it's very possible she'll be able to do that. The problem is, when you're put in a position where you sort of have to farm heroes like that, it's dangerous, because if you get picked off, that's a really, really big problem. So you have to get in, get your pick, and get out, and you have to get the kill, which is an even bigger issue. And you can't stick around if you don't get the kill relatively quickly. And you have to always be aware that even if you do get the kill relatively quickly, if the other side responds in time, you still might die. Especially a hero like Syl that does not have the right escape mechanism. So mid tower will fall, but I'm more interested in what's going down on bot, as Bubbles is going to get jumped on here by nice blitz there with the back blast as well, and Bubbles going to try to get away, but the buff ring's on him and he's going to die. Kelpfield goes down looking for the bottle charges, will actually survive here somehow, as Hag doesn't have level 1 HoN. Meanwhile up top, Saint Rock's getting everything, as there goes the Impale and the Dragonfly. Phoenix Wave will finish it off, so Pestilence finally being addressed a little bit here. Now, Pesty looking for the flight. There it is. Keg will actually be dodged, and there's a Dragon Flame right on top of that. There's an easy get kill. Goped picks up a double tap. Doesn't actually credit him for it, but he does get 2 kills. So nice fight back there a little bit from the Hellborn side, evening up the experience. Gold is still pretty much in favor of the Legion, as they're about 3k up. Mostly because of the superior farm they've had in lane in terms of CS, and obviously not from hero kills anymore, as it is 4-4. Trying to do some counter warding here, but get forced off as bugs go down onto NG. Will finally get that last auto attack onto that ward, but now Stalagmites actually go out onto Pesty, plus the Keg Stun and the turret. Now there's going to be dead Pesty very easily. Dragon Flame actually missed. Nice Emerald Red Stun, or Emerald Stun actually. It's a couple of heroes, but Balloon is in a lot of trouble here. Will die, no question. They have shock available, and there it is. So a 2-for-0 there in favor of the Legion, plus to pick the ward off. They've now got 4 heroes up here, as 3 as Zane is left, and Imboy's in mid. Imboy heading up here though, might run into Bubbles. And Bubbles should be able to get away from this, as he's quickly going to realize what's going on. Song of the Sea prevents any initiation there from DM, and he will be fine. Moving on to laning phase here, we have a mid tower dead. That's a pretty big positioning issue for the Hellborn side, and they are down in both resources, they're only slightly inexperienced. And they have to be a little concerned about where they're at right now, because both DM and Pebbles are extremely strong in the mid game. And their lineup is, I see Slagmite's coming on here, followed by the Keg and the Chuck. And it looks like Pesty's going to fall here once again, taking the 3rd Sun from Blitz. So Boxel having a bit of a difficult time, 0-3-3, 270 GPM actually leads his team. And his 3 heroes in the Legion are above him, and both supports are at 182, which is pretty respectable actually. Nearly at the same farm as that Silhouette. So I'm not really sure what to do here from the Hellborn team. I'd like to open some space up here. Imboy going to get jumped on here. That Kelpfield and the Tree Grapple coming out, but he's just going to run away. Takes the Kelpfield stun, and that's actually not going to be enough. Nice play there from Marcus Moy, grabbing the kill on Imboy. Push up a little bit too far. Zane on bot pushing the tower, but will draw a response from Bubbles. There goes the Shell Surf. Nothing up to follow it though. No Song of the Sea. You're still interesting. Up top, Voxel falls once again. There's the initiation public X-Tug, and here comes the energy field. There it is. Well, Death Girl actually will fall thanks to the power throw, so Aluna is now up to the side looking for some more. Not going to find it. One front exchange there in favor of Hellborn, as obviously Death Grail has 300 GPM compared to the 250 of Voxel, and you're also delaying that portal key from Pebbles, who probably had it before that engagement, or at least right during that engagement, because he would have lost about 300 gold there. 341, so yeah. He pretty much had his PK. And that would have been a relatively fast PK, considering his start was generally pretty mediocre. I mean, he got himself up to 300 GPM, so that's fine.
Denied.
And that deny is going to help him out a little bit. He will actually finish out the power supply first. One or two more waves, and he should be having that PK. Zane on bot, gonna draw Bubbles back into this, trying to defend. But Imbue's off to the side, perhaps looking for a pick. Not gonna find one, and is so going to leave Pesty, going to spot him out. So in terms of game plans here, from the Hellborn side, I would say it's group up, use your burst damage, open space for Silhouette. Just let her eat everything in the jungle that she can. Let her get a Searing Light. She's going to need it. It's going to be a little late at this point, but I don't see a way around that, I think, for her. She needs the Light Brand to help her farm, and the Firebrand on top of that will help her too, so it's a little painful. 260 GPM, so she's recovered a little bit. Missing a couple CS there, but not the biggest deal. Bugs go out here on to Zane. She will be able to blink away and be totally fine. No portal key on Pesty, of course. Pebbles has his in about 200 gold. And now 10 gold. There's the last CS he needs for it. We'll take a Phoenix Wave here. There's the Quicken. So Stalagmite's actually going to miss. Will hit there, and this is going to be an energy field down. Easy kill for Silhouette. Now Pyromancer's like, oh, Boy's coming in for the back, and that's going to be an easy kill for him as well. So Tilla picking up the last hit. So that's a DD Drunken Master. We have all 5 up here. And that's going to be an easy tower kill right there. Plus Sane coming in from the back. Will, in fact, go top. Or go middle. As they're figuring, oh, we don't need you to kill this tower anymore. And Legion will pressure top secondary tower. Pesty in mid. We'll put the bugs onto Zane. But with that DD still up on Drunken, this top tower is going to die.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
And there go the ports. No defense there from Hellborn, so a little interesting that they'd let them do that. Now 17 minutes in, 10-6 gold lead, or 10-6 hero kill lead, 10,000 gold lead, and 4,000 experience lead, so I'm feeling a little concerned here if I'm Hellborn, just because, I mean, their mid-game strength is pretty good, but Legion's is arguably better. With Pebbles coming in, and Drunken, and Hag really all being extremely powerful in the mid-game. And Silhouette over here still is at 240 gold per minute after that death. She's 2-2-0. So has a couple of kills, but that's not very helpful because, you know, she's died a little too much. And she just hasn't gotten the CS she needs. You look at the stats over here, 72 creep kills. Pesty has 82. Bubbles has 68, so she's only 4 ahead of Bubbles. And over here on the Legion side, 3 heroes have more creep kills than she does. And 2 of them have a lot more in Imboy and Zane. We're going to buy Illusion Ring once again for Drunken. This is going to push in this bot tower. It does quite a lot of damage here, of course. Jump here onto Pebbles, actually, after the Shell Surf, and that's some dead Bubbles. So Hag and Blitz coming to join as well, and this is going to be a bot tower push, and should be, once again, a bot tower kill. Mid going to be countered by Hellborn, as they've brought 3 heroes so far. Engineer looking for something like a defense. And as a result, we'll back them off. Double stack damage to be stolen. So it seems to me like the only potential avenue to victory here is the extremely late game, when Silhouette just will eventually become more powerful than Hag. Pesty will become a little more powerful than Pebbles, maybe more powerful than Drunken. We'll see. And then of course you have the issue of Bubbles just doesn't scale all that well. Pebbles scales pretty well, so even in the late game, I do wonder exactly how much they'll be able to do on Hellborn. Just because Silhouette's a better carry than Hag, but is she better than... is her and Pebbles and Pestilence better than Pebbles, Hag, Drunken? As now Engie's in a ton of trouble. Puts the Keg, nice portal key to stop it, but puts the ultimate down and eats a stun there. Now, Imberboy is able to pour down, and actually, Tilla dies. Oh, to the power throw. I'm like, what the hell happened there? It's a nice snipe there from Fusion on that Aluna. He's down there. Top tower getting pushed in by creeps. We'll take a whole lot of damage. Probably won't die. With Imberboy coming in over here to help with the defense. And he now has that bulwark. He's got the shield breaker, so he's built pretty quickly. 462 GPM. As wow, he really skyrocketed. I did not realize how strong he was. And the amount of physical damage that's coming out from him is insane. Shield breaker is level 3. Holy crap. He's going to kill either of those supports or really Silhouette. He's going to kill anybody on this Hellborn team in a matter of like 6 hits at most, and I think that's Pestilence. Maybe not even that much. I mean, 1300 health on Strength Steam Boots for Pesty, that's really not that much. 1300 for Sil on Strength Steam Boots, not that much. And is over here looking for a pick on Sil. There goes the jump in from Pebbles. Actually, Stalagmites miss. So does Dragonfire. Nice stun there onto Hag, and she's going to take some damage here, including the Pyro ulti. Kelfield will help finish her off. But stun there as actually Pestilence jumps in onto Imberboy, so he's got the ult active, but he's not going to be in too much health there as everything's going down. Energy field gets dropped. Gopin on the side. Pyromancer falls. There goes Cracky as well on that Bubbles, and the Legion team's getting the hell out of here, trying to stop Pestilence from doing everything. And actually, nice pickoff on a Fusion there by Till in the background. So, still looking for an engagement, and the Impale stun plus the bugs go on to Engie. Pebbles looking to help him out a little bit, but it won't happen. Instead, hey, I'm going to pick off this Silhouette, and that'll kill him. Actually, Stalagmites do hit Pesty as well. Gets the stun into both. Imberboy is in trouble. Will die, despite the stagger. And now Pesty looking to take this to Pebbles. Pebbles has a Chuck or a Stalagmites with Ink Treads. He's going to jump into the woods over here. Pestilence does have a port, but not going to use it quite yet. Instead, just going to flight away. So that ends up being pretty substantially in favor of the Legion side as they pick off everybody on Hellborn except for Pesty. They lost Engie, Drunken, and that's it, I think. I don't think Blitz died. Zane died. So 4 for 3 exchange there in favor of Legion, and picking off everybody except for that Pestilence, getting Pebbles and Blitz to stay alive. That's poor, poor Marcus Moy. I guess he's going for the Shrunken early. I don't hate that. Problem is, every single time you go Shrunken first item, you just don't have any damage. Relentless Salvo will help a little bit with that. but not enough. Our Legion team grouped up here, perhaps looking at Kongor. We're looking to push mid maybe, but the entire Hellborn team is here, and they are willing to mount a defense. So Legion slow playing this, figuring at the very least we have the mid game. We're going to have a pretty substantial advantage for the next at least 10 to 15 minutes. After that, as long as we don't throw super hard, we should still be in a position to win. So over the next 10 to 15 minutes, we want to continue to take towers, most notably that mid one as it's the only one remaining. We'll pick off heroes where we can. We'll farm a little safe, clean resources, and make sure we don't lose. Which is a very safe strategy. It's a little boring, but that's alright. It's what wins games. Bubbles over here. We'll clean up the creep wave and get the hell out of there as Imberboy was off to the side, perhaps looking for a jump. Items over here on the Legion side, of course. Imberboy stacked as all hell with the Shieldbreaker, 3 Souls, Bulwark, Ghost Marchers, Mystic Vestments, and a Bottle. Angie has managed to pick up a push book on top of his Steam Boots and Mana Battery, so not doing too bad there is Tilla on the hard support. Wretched Hag has finished her Grimoire, so certainly plenty of timing on that. Middle tower is going to fall.
Destroyed a Hellborn tower.
And they will back off, so taking a pretty safe engagement there. And Hag's farm will continue to skyrocket 370 GPM at this point, but she should hit the 450-500 mark relatively easily now that she's got the Grimoire. And especially if they manage to pick up a few more hero kills, which I expect them to, with all the burst damage and stuns that are coming out. Pebble's working on his Shrunken. He has a portal key on top of his Steam Boost, Power Supply, and Bottle, so plenty of regen there. And presumably going next for a Shrunken Head, as obviously Hellborn have plenty of magical damage. Pyromancer and Luna, most notable, and Bubbles for that matter, too, should be added to that list. And until the right clicks come out in really any kind of measurable capacity from Silhouette and actually jump in here onto a Luna, she's gonna die.
Yeah.
As the word spotted her out.
The Hellborn have destroyed
Top
a
tower
Legion
falls,
tower.
thanks to Bubbles and his illusions. Conquer now being attempted here by the Legion side as they have wards to scout out the Hellborn. If they want to come in and stop this, it's not going to happen. Oh, and then a little too fast here is the big monkey. And I don't think Hellborn even know this is happening. They only have one word of sight. It's over here, so considering the dual supports here, Pyromancer and Aluna, I'm a little surprised their word coverage isn't better.
Kongor has been slain.
MG dropping down to the field for no reason as Blitz takes out a Bubbles illusion with extreme prejudice. You're pushing a top tower pretty hard, actually. But that was the first tower kill of the game for the Hellborn side, as they've only got 3 remaining in their base, and the Legion have 5 outside of their base. So Gold Legion continues to expand. It's not increasing nearly as much as it was early in the game, just over 13,000 now. The experience up to 5k. But Legion are basically just taking control of this game, playing reasonably passive here and deciding let's not do anything to mess with our lead. We'll slowly expand it until such time as we feel that we can push into their base. Maybe we get a lucky pick or two, we win a team fight. But we're not just going to push straight through quite yet. So cleaning up some double ancients here. We'll get her over to the 320 gold per minute mark, as she has decided to go that first item Shrunken Head, like I said. But, I mean, it's not like there's no physical damage here. Drunken Master says, I don't care about your stupid Shrunken Head. Even Hag and Pebbles have pretty substantial right-click autos at this point. Let's see. Hag's doing 114 to 112 damage, which is pretty solid for 28 minutes into the game. DM's hitting harder, I'm sure. Yeah, 200. Silhouette's at 131. So Hag's hitting almost as hard as Shrunk as Sill is. And it's going to be a bit of an issue because she's not going to put out any damage. Shrunken Head is finished on Pebbles. Blitz has Energized Rental Steam Boots and a Quick Blade Mystic Vestments. So I am guessing he's looking for Bound Eye is actually in a spot. Nice try, but excellent portal key away from Pestilence. Realizing, holy crap, he can see me. He's got a Bound Eye. So I'm assuming that's going to be a Nullfire Blade here from Blitz. Could be something else, like a Geodes or something for some reason, but that's my first thought. Hellborn items, Aluna just on Striders and a Minor Totem, so a bit unfortunate there. Her partner in crime, Pyromancer, has Steam Boots and a Push Book on top of Pyro Supply and Mystic Vestments from the Teacher, so she's been getting... Pyro's been getting enough farm, hasn't apparently had to deal with as much warding as Aluna has. We'll see, yes, Fusion has a ward there, and both the wards here, and the Rev here, so... Fusion clearly taking the primary ward bitch support. Pestilence has finished the Soul's Bulwark on top of his portal key, so quite a bit of physical damage from him as well. Not nearly as much as Drunken, of course, but with the bugs and the Bulwark, he should be pretty good at it. Pyromancer recovered. Bubbles has the portal key on top of Steam Boost Bottle and a Bloodstone. So grabbing some armor there, of course, to deal with Drunken Master as Bubbles goes down to the boat, says hello. Hello, boat. I will port away now. Hot Tower will fall here, should be denied. Good timing there from St. Rox. As Hag's free farming top. Gonna get jumped here very possibly as there comes Pyromancer. Will miss the Dragon Flame and the Phoenix Wave. And Zane will just board up. She's almost done enough to finish off her Shrunken Head as well. Has the Warhammer. And has a Bloodstone herself to prevent a lot of the physical damage from Pestilence. So both sides going. Physical damage is an issue. You have a bit of a problem. Nice portal key away from Bubbles. And the Emerald Red Stun will stop Pebbles from doing anything. Of course, you already used the Stalagmite, so not much to do. But with DM following it up, a Chuck probably would have been into death for Aluna. DM pushing mid a little bit. Will take quite a lot of damage here. He has the token, so he's not in too much danger, but obviously not wanting to lose it in a bad position or much earlier than he has to. 2 minutes on it, so if they're going to push with it, they should do it now. So it does have a Searing Light, finally. And that will help her farm a lot faster. Or sorry, the Firebrand, not Searing Light. So we'll see if she just goes straight into the Geo's Bane. And I suspect that's what she'll do. Pebbles over here, cleaning up some creeps. We'll find Pyromancer actually avoids the stun, pushbooks herself away, but there goes the portal key, and one more auto attack. Not enough, man, that's painful. Pestilence coming with the save. Nice pick at the end, though, with Blitz getting the last hit. And with that pick, it looks like they're going to gear up for a mid-push. The token's still on Drunken Master, about a minute left. So he should just go up there, tank the tower, and die. Jump over here onto Bubbles, and he will die to the Bat Blast, so pretty big cooldown used there by Hag, but it's going to help them push in this mid-tower. Just sit there, DM. Yeah, you're going to die here. There goes the token, so Energy Field also going to get dropped. Prevent further initiation. Pebbles jumping back in, but actually doesn't hit anything. Kelp Field gets eaten by him, but he has the Shrunken Head up. Bubble's going to get dropped here, actually, but Deathclaw will go down first. Over here, both supports being chased down by Pesty and Pyromancer, as Legion side's like, oh, this is bad. Lost a token, lost Pebbles, and Hellborn didn't lose too much. Just Bubbles that cost him a buyback and a buyback on Pyromancer as well. But a nice fight back there from the Hellborn side as they've taken this resource advantage and put it down a little bit. Mid tower looks like it's going to be pushed in, as we've got 3 heroes here from the Hellborn with 2 more grouping up. Turret will help stop that push a little, and DM going to do a little more to finish it off. As once again, the lack of towers here from the Hellborn side is a pretty big issue. 35 minutes in the game, they've only taken 2 in both the short and long lanes. Zane going to pour it out in lane, doesn't want to be here anymore. And Pesty's going to farm the bot, so farm here. So it's getting up there now, 375 gold per minute. Not bad at all. But then there's this. Zane and Imboboy both over that 400 gold per minute mark. Imboboy, in fact, over 450. Nothing doing. It's been an extremely passive game. 18 to 11 hero kills right here. Not quite a kill a minute. But a lot of that action happened in the early game. With the tri-lane, so for the last several minutes it's been extremely passive. A little boring. Basically my farm fest. This Reason is doing everything that they can to make sure they don't throw this. They know that they're in a pretty substantial lead here, and that last team fight at the base, they were like, we did not win that nearly as hard as we thought we were going to, so let's just spend the next 10 hours farming this map, and we will win. Taking the Hellborn's jungle here, and warding the crap out of it in the meantime. There's a Word of Sight there, right next to a Word of Rev, but of course that is the Hellborn's Word of Rev, so... They don't know what's going on. Bound Eye here, if it gets popped, they'll see it. Imboboy, meanwhile, falling on bottom, completely missing that. Gets jumped by Pesty, and Bubbles is here as well. There's a Song in the Sea. Nice power throw coming in here, and the Shell Surf will finish him off. So good coordination there, using the long distance range of Aluna to get a pick onto Imboboy. And really not using any major cooldowns. They used the Emerald Red there from Aluna, but of course she should have that back relatively soon. Only level 9, so it doesn't have 2 charges of it yet. But not the biggest deal anyway. Pyro's level 16. Aluna's level 9. Oh, Aluna. You poor, poor little thing. Creeps will be clean up here in middle, as perhaps once again looking for a mid-tower push, but Legion is not going to let this happen. Kongor instead. As Legion have very little vision over here, just the Word of Sight up there, which I believe spots Aluna as she's sitting on the hill. And they might know what's going on, but this is actually going down rather fast. Bound Eye is popped, and they put a Word of Sight there, so now they know what's going on because they saw Pyro go in. They can probably see her firing right here. But this is going to be killed before they do anything about it. Zane is pushing the top tower, but he's not going to get anything substantial. And that's going to be a pretty easy Kongor kill for the Hellborn. completely uncontested. Marcus Moya now has a token. Jump here. Pesty actually jumps at the same time as Pebbles pops a Shrunken Head, and we'll get the hell out of there. Actually gets silent stopped by the Ember Boy stun, so well done there. It's like, yeah, you want to pop your Shrunken Head? That's fine. I've got a physical stun. And with the pick off onto Pesty, he has no buyback. So funnily enough, the Hellborn get a Kongor, and this is looking like it's going to lead to some aggression by the Legion team. Hag has finished her Shrunken. She's had that for a while. So has Pebbles. He's also had that for a while. But Warp Cleft also picked up for DM. There's a Demonic Breastplate. So perhaps that's what they were looking for. And that will help out quite a bit in terms of everybody's tankiness. Creep Wave immediately gets cleaned up by the Power Throw on the Shell Surf. But this is going to be a dead tower. Pebbles jumping in, looking for a pick. Only find the illusion there, but Kelpfield on 3. Bat Blast actually hits a Luna, and immediately he dies. Pyro on the side, pops a Shrunken, but actually that's, sorry, Silhouette, but this pops a Shrunken, but will die. And now it looks like Legion's get the hell out of here. Bubbles is here looking for safety. Pebbles wants some death, though. Pesty's back. Stalagmites go down. Nothing's going to hit him. Actually, immediately going to be stopped from the teleport as Engineer, so he'll die. And he'll drop the Bound Die as well, so Pyro actually going to kill it. Interesting. Doesn't have room for it, I suppose, but I did think, hey, drop your TP. So decent enough fight back there from the Hellborn as they only stop that mid-tower. Meanwhile, over here, actually Blitz. He's so fast. No, why did you turn around? And that might do on. A Stalagmite's going out there, but not going to be enough, as that's a hasted Pestilence.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
So Pesty finding another kill over here, and that's a pretty solid engagement for him. As he gets 2 kills, I believe. No, Attila got the kill, or Marcus might got the kill on Attila. Top tower getting pressured a little bit by the creeps, but not that much, and it will be cleaned up anyway by Bubbles and Hag, or Parasite. Pestilence. One of those heroes. Pebbles cleaning up Creep Wave in the middle, looking for some more farm himself. As no huge new items picked up either side. Silhouette did finish her Geo's Bane, but did that a bit of time ago. Abyssal Skull actually picked up on Pyromancer, that's presumably for Pestilence's benefit, considering he's the only melee hero on the team. It's a little interesting. But hey, that's not really well how I would have used 2,000 gold if I were Pyromancer. I would have bought a Portal Key. But now she has another 1,900 saved up. It's actually, her farm's not that too bad, 230 GPM. So I assume that's going to be her next item. Slayer picked up by Silhouette, and I'm guessing Savage Mace is in the works. Pyromancer in a little trouble. There goes the jump, and the Chuck actually doesn't hit her, but will she get away? Yeah, push poke just enough. So without the Chuck, not enough damage. Pushed her down. She is pretty tanky. 1,300 health, especially with those Mystic Vestments on. Plenty of health. And top tower going to push him a little bit like we played, but it will be cleaned up by the tower. And there's the PK and a Pyro. I guess 3,400, 700. Looking for a Sheepstick, of course. That Arcane Staff plus the Ultimate Orb have already come out, and now she's got enough for the Sheepstick. So presumably putting that Sheepstick onto Silhouette, who has no real way to counter it. She has no Null Stone with the Blink Sheep. She won't be able to get the Shrunken Head off in time, very probably. So I'm betting this is going to be a Blink Sheep jump onto Sil, followed by Pebbles' combo, and then probably Silhouette's death. And then after that, the Hellborn side won't have any damage. They'll have a little bit from Pestilence, but not nearly enough. And Bubbles and Illumina, even Pyromancer at this game, just they don't provide enough. Geobane popped. Silhouette's feeling a little threatened here, and for good reason. We'll jump over to the side, though, right past this word of sight. Pebbles is looking for an engagement here. Stalagmite's actually, as she ports back to the base, that's where her illusion was. Just before that goes off. So good use of that ult. Pebbles is farming very aggressively in bot lane. But we'll use a port to get out. Legion side is grouped up here in the middle, so is Hellborn for that matter. And they've both brought 4 heroes. Actually, Impel Stun too early. And Engineer will drop here, but Pebbles looking for the counter initiation. Blitz is here as well. Hag as dropping everything she can, and Pestilence will die. Now Bubbles off to the side looking for something, but will fall here to the Imbo Boy stun. And Zane gets a double tap. So a couple of strong picks there, and now they're in some trouble on this Hellborn team. As they've lost Tilla, but that's not that big a deal, especially considering they got Pesty and Bubbles. Pesty does buy back, and that's to be the Legion's cue to back off. Savage Mace is finished on Silhouette. She's got 440 gold per minute, so she's recovered remarkably well here. As they've basically just given her all the farm, and for good reason. Perhaps looking for a reinitiation. Once again, Sheepstick onto Pestilence, and he's going to take a whole bunch of damage and die right off the bat. Dragonfire gets put down. Luna falling super fast. Pebbles will die in the end, but so does Goat on that Pyromancer. And now Emboy running around looking for a pick on Bubbles. Going to do a ton of damage. Zane is actually taking a lot, but there goes Bubbles. Lots of illusions from Syl, doing plenty, and those solo attacks are just extremely painful. So she will live, but that's a 4-for-1 exchange there in favor of Legion side, picking off the entire Hellborn except for Silhouette, and losing only Pebbles. Considering that Voxel on that Pestilence just bought out too, that's a bit of a suffer situation for him. Jump in here, once again, not going to happen for Silhouette as she pops the Energizer. So Zane a little bit low here, not going to get sniped as the power throw comes out. Engie going to clean up this top. And I'd like to see Blitz start warding a little more. He has a Nullfire Blade. I'd like to see Blitz start warding a little more, so... Actually, Imbo going to get caught out here. He puts the Shrunken Head up, so he'll avoid the stun. And Silhouette not interested in pursuing that, instead just cleaning up these Ancients. Anyway, I'd like Blitz to do some warding here so Engie can pick up his Portal Key. And that's obviously not going to happen as he just spent all his gold, I believe, on wards. Imboy picks up a Cleaver. Or Axe of the Malphite, yeah. For some reason I forgot that item's name for no reason. Plate Mail onto Wretched Hag, so that's definitely going to be a Shiva's. Or a Frostfield Plate, I guess. Once again with these item names, for some reason I'm just having some problem. Over here, meanwhile, Pebble's getting jumped by all these illusions, but not going to be anything real as Silhouette's way gone. Bubbles off to the side over here, helping to clean up the creep wave. And Legion's looking for an engagement here. As Pyromancer reports back, the entire Hellborn side is finally here. Jump in from Pestilence, pops the Shrunken Head. Silhouette jumps in as well, but Energy Field goes off, doing quite a lot. Shrunken Head is up from Silhouette, and immediately Bubbles dies. Now she's taking quite a lot. Actually, Goat on Pyromancer dies as well. So does Marcus Moy. Nobody has a buyout here, and that's going to be a bit of an issue. I suspect that's game. No buyouts on Pyro, Bubbles, or Silhouette. And Legion can just destroy the Hellborn base at this point. There's nothing they can do. Jump in here onto a Luna just to try to help kill her, and yeah, it's going to happen. Poor a Luna.
A Hellborn barracks has been destroyed.
Instead of it being a 4-0 exchange in total there, as Pestilence is just sitting in as well going, I guess you guys are going to get Mega Creeps now. And that's going to cause us to lose this game. So there's the CC vote and the GG's coming out. Recent Gaming playing the let's play this game safe. Once again, we've seen that quite a lot lately, in fact, with teams taking not too many engagements, playing really passively, as Amberboy and Pestilence are going at this even after the game's over. You gonna dive the well, Amberboy, here? Yes, you are. You won't get the kill. Nice, Impale. Haha. So, not too much to say about that game, really. It was just a reason taking an early lead and continuing to press at advantage, continuing to take resource control, and ultimately taking the game, as there was just never enough farm on the Hellborn side for them to really do anything about reason. This game was like a lot of games lost in the laning phase, and you know, you really can't lose all 3 lanes like Tree did here and expect to win the game. So, bit of a disappointment for them, I'm sure, but they did take it to 50 minutes, so certainly a fight put up, and that will do it for game 1 as Reason take it. So let's move on.